Okay, folks, welcome back for today's edition of NDD. I'm Pete Mulroy. Want to start today with some really great news as Notre Dame tackle Emil Wagner, who's going to start on the right side of Notre Dame's offensive line once again this season. We know that. We've talked about it. But this week, he was nominated for a spot on the 2025 All-State AFCA Good Works team. And now what this is, it's sort of an award that recognizes those who have a strong commitment to their community service and who make a positive impact off the playing fields. Now, across the country, Wagner, and this is impressive, is one of 197 nominees for the honor, and that final roster for this team, if you will, is going to be announced sometime in September. The group will include 22 football players and one honorary head coach, which is significant. Last season, Marcus Freeman was selected as head coach of this team due to his consistent and ongoing effort in the community across South Bend and beyond, with former Notre Dame linebacker Jack Kaiser joining him on that 24 team. And now for Wagner purposes, during his time in South Bend, he's remained steadily involved with helping student athletes better themselves as people, students, and sporting stars. And furthermore, and I didn't know this. You learn something new every day. I didn't know this aspect of it until I read it on fightingirish.com when the announcement was made, that Wagner is also the president of Notre Dame's chapter of Uplifting Athletes, which is a group that takes on a crucial role in raising awareness and providing support for families impacted by rare diseases. So it takes a special type of human being to want to be involved in that, but then head the chapter of a university such as the University of Notre Dame. Wagner is doing that, and he's someone who what we know is a force on the field, sort of Notre Dame's Iron Man, right, going back a season ago, and an incredible role model off it. Emil Wagner is incredibly deserving of this recognition, and we certainly congratulate him here today. So job well done to Amir, and we'll certainly keep everybody posted when that team is announced in September. Freshman profiles continue. Mentioned we wanted to stick with the offensive line. Today we talked about Mattie Austinine, 6'7", 290 from Brunswick School in Greenwich, Connecticut. Just beautiful up there. If you haven't been, I used to cover a lot of high school games when I was doing some stuff for the MSG network here across the tri-state area. It was always fun going up to the New Canaans of the world, Greenwich, Darien, all those different parts for different football. Lacrosse was big up there as well, still is. So I've been up near that Brunswick School in Greenwich, Connecticut. Beautiful place, and that's where during his time in high school, Austinine served as captain for both the football and basketball teams, committed to Notre Dame in February of last year, in large part because he was in love with the combo of academic excellence, tradition, and football abilities. And that, the academic excellence, overall tradition, and then you have that football tradition. It's a perfect combo. It's a nice trifecta. And Austinine really took that to heart. Joe Rudolph, instrumental in bringing this young man to South Bend, as well as was Marcus Freeman. Four-star kid across the board who came in, as we know, part of a 2025 O-line class that includes now Notre Dame teammates in four-star Owen Strabig and five-star Will Black. So Austinine slots right in here. Good frame, incredible athleticism, which obviously is going to come from someone who played high-level basketball and football for many years through junior high and into high school. And then you couple that with the high-quality leadership skills. This makes Austinine a perfect fit for someone who can start on this Notre Dame offensive line in the years to come. But you want to talk about his freshman campaign coming up this season. A highly coveted player for both Rudolph and Freeman on the recruiting trail. So getting him to the Dome over power programs like Michigan, Alabama, BC, Florida, Ohio State, Penn State, and a handful of others was a huge deal, still is. Now, the Irish coaching staff is going to be able to work on Augustine's game at the high Division I level. This season, you're asking me, I expect the young man to focus on improving his technique on the line. In the coming seasons, the idea of playing either guard, which very much exists, or that tackle position is very much there. But as is the case for a lot of these incoming players, and we've seen that, and that even includes Will Black, who's going to have a big role on this team one way or the other, especially when you talk about that injury to Charles Jagasaw. Taking on a developmental role in year one is most important. That's where I think Mattie will sort of be this year. Again, solid athletic, ability to create leverage, and long arms here, which is always a welcome trait for an offensive lineman due to the fact that it can help keep those incoming and attacking defensive linemen further away from their goal. He's only going to continue to grow under the tutelage of Joe Rudolph. I think we know that. And you can go back a couple of seasons, Joe Rudolph, there was kind of 50-50 lukewarm on how he was as a coach. Guy did a bang-up hell of a job last year, and they're lucky to have him here and now. Even with that injury to Charles Jagasaw, you could make the argument. Ohio State's in that mix. Oklahoma, big bruising schools. I know Oklahoma is chomping at the bit to really sink their teeth into this slow-starting Brett Venables era. But when you talk about really good offensive lines across the country, Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame is right there at the top. And Joe Rudolph is a huge part of why that continues to develop here and will only continue this season. You look at the future. While Mattie Austinine will be in that developmental phase as they continue to grow his skills and traits, because he comes in with that great, strong, athletic build. Now it's fine-tuning it, but also when you throw in the idea that learning from the likes of Emil Wagner, Billy Schrauth, and Anthony Knapp, who was in a similar situation last year and was thrust in as a three-star true freshman coming in at the left tackle position. Now he's being floated as a future star in South Bend, and I agree. The idea of Austinine being able to learn from all of these guys, including his coaching staff, which will help him adjust to life as an ND football player and student, that's going to help him hone his craft even more. Because again, from where I sit and many other people, this kid projects as a future starter. The tools are there. Now you just got to refine him. Now you just got to get him to be that type of player that you want up front. We talked about a kid yesterday like Cam Herron, a Will Black, obviously. Guys that come here, and Herron in the middle of that offensive line, either at guard or at center, projects as someone who's going to be a big force for Notre Dame moving forward. I expect the same for Mattie Austinine. What Notre Dame did with the offensive line bunch in the 25 class was spectacular. And Will Black will headline it. He'll be the gem coming in. But I think you're very excited that you're able to go out and get someone like a Mattie Austinine and continue to build those blocks moving forward. So that's why I chose him as the follow-up to stick with the offensive line flow in this 25 class as today's impact freshman player profile. I just want to wrap up, you're talking about the future. We know the 25 class was solid. The 2026 group, absolutely loaded. Because Marcus Freeman and company have taken incredible steps to secure the future of this program. And Notre Dame might not even be done with the 26 class, as we know, because Elijah Golden, star defensive tackle, is set to announce July 26, and Notre Dame remains the leader in the clubhouse. And so far, when you look at that 26 class, Notre Dame has done a really nice job up front of the D-line. Defensive tackle, Tikiola, edge rushers, Iwatani and Dunham, they're in town. So when you look ahead at this 27 group, as we sort of have done in the past couple shows, but the focus was really 26, right? Well, now that door is closing, it's still open, but it's coming to a close, we can start to focus a little bit more on Notre Dame's outlook and goals and probably perceived beliefs as how they want to approach building that class. I think looking ahead, depth at any position is never a bad thing, and the Irish are probably going to want more at a couple of spots in particular, bulking up the defensive line. So when you look at some of the offers Notre Dame defensively on that upfront group have offered in the 27 class, one of the best in the entire country in this 27 class is defensive tackle Jalen Brewster. You also have Wisconsin's Isaac Miller. So it looks like Notre Dame with those two offers has some early targets in mind at what they're looking for. But when you focus on the totality of this 27 group, the Irish have clearly identified some of the areas they consider to be their biggest needs. So they've created a logical roadmap, which is pretty darn compelling. So if you're asking me up front, build that defensive line, continue to do it. You're pretty strong with what you've done in 26 with Rodney Dunham and Ebenezer Iwatani. So the edges look pretty good. Now you want to have a little more support in the 26 group from Tikiola. If you're able to go out and land a Brewster or an Isaac Miller, that's beyond job well done. Offensively, continuing to vamp up the wideout spot is essential as well. So Notre Dame's got a couple offers out there. Quentin Burrell, who's an absolute stud, 6'3", $175 from Mount Carmel in Chicago. I know many of us, including yours truly, would love to see Notre Dame kicking the tires in Chicago and the Chicago area and having more success there. Getting Burrell would do just that. He'd look phenomenal in an Irish uniform. And you have Julius Jones Jr., of course, who's already received an offer. To me, there's a kid out there from Argyle, Texas, 6 foot, 170 pounder, Julian Caldwell. He's another kid in this 27 class I really love to see come play at Notre Dame Stadium. Time's going to tell, but those are a couple of the names that are out there. You know, we've talked about Jones Jr., but Caldwell may not have the appeal as someone like a Burrell or even a Jones Jr., but Julian Caldwell is someone who I've followed a lot. I'm a big Texas high school football guy, as many of us are. It's a way of life out there. You know, my mother and my sister live out in Austin, so I get to see it when I visit them, which is fairly frequently. But as far as the 27 group is concerned, overall, I would really like to see Marcus Freeman and company continue to build the interior of the D-line in the 27 class, while also adding perhaps another high-profile quarterback. And could that be a Teddy Gerard, who I've spoken highly about in previous shows? That's something we'll continue to track, things we'll continue to talk about. But I think it's fair to say that as Notre Dame starts to set up some visits in the coming weeks and months with the 27 group while finalizing the 26 class, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I think the roadmap is there, up front, middle of that D-line, support on the outside at the wide receiver position. I think those are the two main goals. And yeah, you want to add that quarterback in there as maybe plan C in that 27 class. I'm not going to argue with you. It's early, but it's never too early to start breaking it down. That's what I like to do. As of now, Ellis McGaskin, the star linebacker, and long snapper Sean Kraft sit as the first two commitments in the class in what we expect will be another loaded group for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. As always, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great night. And as always, go Irish.